Okay, let's continue with Julian's interview with Wisconsin Eye. I skipped past a small section where he talks about abortion as well as police reform. I think those are two really big issues, and I want to make sure that we handle them separately. But let's talk COVID.
Okay, let's come back to the pandemic. Are you comfortable with face masks being a local decision without any type of statewide mandate, Julian?
Yeah, that should strictly be a local decision. Look, if you want to wear a face mask, you should be you should be allowed to wear a face mask. If you don't wish to wear a face mask and you wish to go about your life, then that's the way it should be. I'm adamantly opposed to a statewide mandate on that. I'm opposed to most statewide mandates that would infringe on liberty or our rights. We need to make sure that we're preserving those rights.
Okay.
I feel for him on that one. It's really hard sometimes doing live interviews, and gee, it's very nice of him to allow us to wear face masks if we want to wear face masks. I know that's not what he meant. Anyway, he talks about local decisions. And normally when we talk local control, we actually mean like a city, municipality, school district, something along those lines. I don't think that's what he was implying, but I know it is part of the standard GOP platform is from the state level. They want to allow local municipalities to have as much control as possible. So, and I don't disagree with that when we're looking at the face mask mandate. There are certainly areas where there's very, very little COVID activity, right? And then there's areas where there's significantly more. So I understand that. The problem, though, the challenge is that if we have areas in Wisconsin that don't have a face mask mandate, then people that are in areas that do are naturally going to go to those locations. They're going to go to those bars. They're going to go to those restaurants, which, of course, brings up the very significant possibility of being able to spread COVID more. So that's the whole point behind a state mandate is COVID doesn't understand city lines or county lines. We need to actually enforce it statewide. And unfortunately, that's not happening, including with Julian, quite frankly, where he's done fundraisers and that sort of thing, clearly and obviously not wearing a mask. The ironic part is that his interview here was recorded on July 30th, and that's actually the day that the Governor Evers implemented the statewide mandate. So he didn't agree with it. The GOP didn't agree with it. And again, by GOP, I mean the state GOP, not necessarily Republican voters or conservative voters. But this time they didn't do anything about it because the Supreme Court had shifted. So I thought that was interesting. I'd also like to note that if, in fact, the state GOP did have a significant problem with this and wanted to overturn it, they have the full rights to actually meet and overturn that state mandate or that gubernatorial mandate. And they haven't done that. And that's because the state GOP has decided not to make any decisions at all when it comes to COVID. And that's a tragedy. You'll notice throughout this entire interview with Julian, he never has any ideas or suggestions. He simply says, no, we should not allow a mandate. Later on, he talks about hospitals. No, we should not help the hospitals. So there is no plan. He even talks at the very end, and we'll get to it, he even talks at the very end of having a plan for COVID, but he never has released any data or any information about it, any ideas or suggestions. And obviously, the state GOP leadership has done absolutely nothing for COVID. So that's part of what's so frustrating about this, is that they're not doing anything at all. He also talks about infringing on our liberties and rights. And quite frankly, I would challenge him to tell us what liberties, or more importantly, what rights he thinks are being infringed upon by being required to wear a mask.